haven't already, join Thor. Next on the DragonShip, we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day. Yep, that's right. Roses are red, violets are fucked.
Is beautiful, sexy, and one of a kind. So this Valentine's Day, get her a gift that's as special and unique as she is. Some dumb little thing from CVS. Because you're already there buying toilet paper, and oh, mother, it's Valentine's Day?
Before you go and spend your hard-earned cash on Valentine's Day, watch the DragonShip so we can tell you why Valentine's Day is a trap.
Odin. Yeah, here we are on the DragonShip. Glenn, Laurence, Raith, Deantior, and Randall. Welcome to the DragonShip on this Saturday morning, guys. I mean, we're gonna have a chop up today. How'd you like Cupid's Day, huh? Did you see the arrow that Cupid is sporting? What do you guys think, man? Valentine's Day. I mean, this whole thing, guys. Valentine's Day. I mean, with the commercialism, is it love for sale? We're saying, is it a trap? Well, kind of. Is it how it's so commercialized? But you know, how do we get stuck into that? You know, a lot of us have been raised with the Disney fantasy and the Valentine's Day, and I think this signifies the end of cuffing season, if I'm not wrong. Whatever cuffing season is, I'm getting some background there. I'm not sure. Is that Randall? No worries. We'll get that taken care of, and we'll get you the good quality. So, you know, I liken that Valentine's Day for most people. I want to kind of relabel it. I was looking on the internet about Valentine's Day because it's not something I pay a lot of attention to. It's not because I already have a Valentine's Day. Believe me, I got many. But I kind of was looking out there, and it kind of, I saw some Valentine's Day memes, and there were some sad people that were calling Valentine's Day, which is coming up this Tuesday, Singles Awareness Day. So some of the girls were calling it Singles Awareness Day. Boo-hoo, right? And it's like musical chairs. So when the music stops, who's left standing, I suppose. And in some ways, it's kind of commercialized like that. Glenn, you did such an amazing promo. Really, something meaningless and silly at CVS. Where the hell did you find something like that? I mean, it really
took a long time to find the material for Valentine's Day. Let's just say that.
You would think it would be so simple because it's so in our face, right? But it was really good. This Valentine's Day. Do you guys remember when you were in grade school and you used to get those little boxes and you'd have to write, you know, you're going through this whole process and you'd be passing these little cards out and some of the girls would reject you. You know, they didn't want to give you a card. Holy shit. That was bad for a kindergartner, right?
I don't know. I never had that problem.
Well, me neither, but can you imagine, you know, here you are, you know, treating those little boys, you know, everybody's got to, and then the moms would say, everybody's got to get a Valentine's because you don't want to hurt their feelings.
I had a really hot teacher. I had a really hot teacher. So I used to give her like a really nice Valentine's Day. Not
an apple, huh?
Oh, no.
Yeah. But, you know, Glenn, when you're a senior in high school, you don't have to give a Valentine's Day.
Mrs. Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez. I remember her.
Hot for teacher.
Ms. Gonzalez. She was like, when I was a senior, she was like maybe 25 years old.
Gonzo Gonzalez?
Miss Gonzalez.
Wow. What'd she teach? Biology?
She was a substitute teacher. She was our substitute English teacher for like 6 months.
Oh. Okay, that sounds pretty interesting. You might have to hear that story there, Glenn.
There is more to that story. But
I can only imagine what there might be, but you know, we're going to have some fun, give you guys some real world impact. Is it a trap? I mean, let's just go around. What do you guys think? I mean, there's a lot of pressure, and if you got a girlfriend, and the nice thing about Glenn's beautiful promo was, here's a guy walking through the store, because I've kind of felt this, but in something different. It was an anniversary, which kind of comes up in the same format. I'm walking in the store and I look and I see, holy shit, there's the card aisle. What did I forget? Did I forget the anniversary, or did I forget the Valentine's Day? I better get something, or I'm going to be in the doghouse and I am not going to get, you know what. So it's definitely put out like that for sure. You guys know the history of Valentine's Day, the commercial history?
No, but it's funny. Like I have a screenplay about Cupid that I wrote.
I like that, because I do know the history of Cupid.
And I remember when it was right after I finished filming the movie Token Choke Dispensary. The director of that project and producer in that project, I pitched it to them, and basically it was like Cupid coming down from Mount Olympus and stopping this guy from committing suicide and teaching him the 99 rules.
Really?
Yeah. It's a comedy. It's really funny. It never really went anywhere though, because
So he had his arrow with a red pill on the end. It sounds
no.
like.
So he got kicked out. So okay, the story of Cupid is that his mom wanted him to like put an arrow in this like monster that he would love, the princess who was getting all the praise and all the glory that she was supposed to be getting. So when Cupid saw her, he like, damn, she's hot, and then he ended up deciding not to, and then they tried to go live happily ever after, hide out somewhere. When his mom found out that she's still alive and she's not married to the monster, she had him sent down to Earth as a punishment because she couldn't kill her own kid. So now he's living on Earth, and so is she, but he didn't know where she's at. And he's working for a matchmaking company called OkCupid. And while he's working he has like the best ratings out of all the matchmakers in OkCupid. Like he's 100%. He hooks everybody up. And and then but
Cupid's running OkCupid.
Yeah, Cupid is like, he works there. He's an employee there, and they call him Q. Yeah. And he ends up getting woken up one night because some guy on his in his apartment like tower or whatever is on the roof about to commit suicide, and then he stops him and he like kind of puts him under his wing and he teaches him how the 9 iron rules. And I mean that it's funny. It's a funny comedy. I wrote that in 2019 or 2020. Yeah.
Hey, that's really perceptive, because really the ancient Romans are kind of responsible for some of that stuff. And Cupid, when I was doing my stuff, Cupid's always associated with Valentine's Day. And interesting enough, it looks like Valentine's, or at least the legend, goes back to 2 martyrs. And so there's 2 martyrs on Valentine's Day. It's so funny how we twist these things. But, on Valentine's Day, the ancient Romans is probably responsible for the modern day vision of St. Valentine's, because it was the Emperor Claudius executed 2 men, both named Valentine. There may have actually been 3. And they were both Christians, and they were martyred. And essentially, this became a form of kind of a ceremonial honoring of these martyrs that happened in the Catholic Church. Eventually, I guess they call it canonization when they make the saints, and they just kind of combined it into Saint Valentine's Day. But it started really early on, before the canonization, it looks like, during the early Christian era. And at the same time, Cupid somehow got put together because he was always represented as a cherub, kind of the naked baby with the wings.
No, he wasn't. Originally, he wasn't.
Right. This was much later. This is like after that canonization, they kind of.
Yeah, because he was before.
He was a god. Yes, he was a god of Mercury and Venus, the goddess of love.
His name originally, I think, was Eros. The Russian name, or not the Russian name, the Roman name is Eros.
Yep, and the Greek name is Cupidos, and it's kind of interesting. The mom got jealous because of his girlfriend, which her name was Psyche.
Well, she wasn't the girlfriend yet. It was the
She was
she was
so
the
yeah, so
she was a human
beautiful that she was
princess.
jealous of her beauty. How fascinating is that? It's called Cupid and Psyche. You can look at it, look it up online. It's pretty freaking fascinating. There's moralities that go with it, and has to do with his piercing of the heart and the arrow situation. So that's pretty interesting, Glenn. You did good. Was that an outgrowth of some of your religious studies?
No, actually, I was just I just finished reading the 9 Iron Rules and studying the 9 Iron Rules. And I was like, it'd be really funny because like if guys knew these 9 Iron Rules and kind of like lived by them or like applied them into their personal life, that then we would be able to eliminate male suicide. And I was like, what better way to make fun of male suicide at the same time, but also teach guys, because in comedy is the best way to teach anybody any like serious lessons if you're trying to be like serious.
Yeah.
Is to make fun of male struggles, but at the same time have a teachable lesson in there. And so I thought applying to the 9 Iron Rules to Cupid, because Cupid understands love differently. Cupid understands love beyond the way that we are taught to love. And so I thought Cupid knowing these 9 Iron Rules and applying them would be the best way to go about it. And it was funny. It was funny. I mean, I wish that project took off, but it was a really good one.
I bet we could talk to Kevin, man, and maybe get you guys together. That would be a fun project. I enjoyed the story of Cupid and Psyche because she was convinced, I guess, somehow that she was that Cupid was a monster, a winged monster. Maybe that's how they combined the cherub in it. But he was a winged monster. It's kind of a tragedy. And then, I guess somehow she tries to drown herself, but the god ended up taking pity and made her an immortal so they could stay married, and they were taken, and reunited with Cupid. So I guess it's got to happen.
Well, she almost dies.
Yes.
And in Hades, because her mom was like, his mom was like, look, if you want, my son or whatever, you have to do a task for me. You have to prove yourself worthy and stuff. And so she had to go down to Hades and do some, crazy shit down there. In the mythological story that in order to get right with her or whatever, and she almost dies, and Cupid goes down there and saves her and brings her back. And there was something that she had to give, or he had to give her in order for her to live again. It was pretty cool.
It is a cool story. I wish I had it all. I didn't have time to encapsulate it. I do have a link that I can throw into the chat afterwards from one of these universities. Kind of sidetracked, but I enjoyed using Cupid, the big buff Cupid, kind of so towards Glenn, the god, on our thumbnail this week. I found it, and then his arrow, of course, has the red peel, which contained the 9 Iron Rules, which fits perfectly with your screenplay that you're doing, kind of centered around this, and something's fantastic happening on Valentine's Day. But back to Valentine's Day, of course, it's commercialized because women are the biggest consumers in the Western world. And women want to be loved. They do. They want the attention. They want the affection. Unfortunately, most of the men don't really qualify. And it is a big musical, game of musical chairs with them. But the expectation is pretty high. You can look at some of the interesting statistics around. Is it Thanksgiving when coupling up starts? I mean, I'm not real familiar, but somebody had pointed out this cuffing season starts, and then
So we
lockdown by Valentine's Day.
I did an episode of cuffing season before with HUDs, and from what I understand, it starts in the summertime. That's when you start doing your pre-selection.
Summertime pre-selection.
Yeah, you start selecting in summertime. It's like the before the season starts off, you have the there is HUDs.
Yeah.
Tell me if it's cuffing season in the beginning, like August, summertime, that time thing, right where summer ends. Is that where we start doing the cuffing season? That's when we start doing the recruiting, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. And then by October, you have your roster, and then you start making your final selections like November, and then you're cuffed, towards like
this is a female centric viewpoint, right? Is that what we're looking at here?
Well, it's he was explaining it as like a college thing. Like this is what he would do in college.
Oh, it was a male centered.
Yeah, male and female both participated in the cuffing season.
Oh, interesting. For what purpose? I mean,
That was something to smash on through the holiday season.
oh, so you'd have this kind of this
Like
faux
little booty
long-term
call,
relationship.
like this little like plain house fake relationship.
Okay, so this is definitely supported and carried on. There's a huge industry in this Valentine's, and I think a lot of guys fall into what might be a trap because they really want to get the attention of the female, and so you got to buy something, right? And I think it's important. It gets really, really important to the girls too. I got this clip from Fresh and Fit where this one girl cries because she didn't get a gift on Valentine's Day. You guys ever experience that the pressure to do something on Valentine's Day from females in your life? No,
all the time.
Tell me, Randall. Tell me the story.
Well, so it's like dating in high school. It's like even though they know you don't have a job, they expect you to somehow get a couple $100 to spend on flowers. Take them out to the nice fancy restaurants. Take them to Buco de Beppo or one of those restaurants like that. And it's just like, I'm your age. I'm not employed. I got maybe $50. I could take us to a movie. And it's like, that's not enough. It's like, well, that's what it's going to be. So,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, this weekend, there's a lot of roses on street corners right now. I wonder next weekend it'll be on discount.
Oh, yeah. The whole teddy bear gift wrap basket already pre-built and $20 at the corner. Get it? And it's like so many things like that. Well, we here in Phoenix, we've got the Super Bowl going on. So we're focusing on that and not the Valentine's Day. Like it literally dawned on me this morning that, Valentine's Day is Tuesday.
Oh, you guys get a reprieve then. You don't have all the preparations,
Oh, we're not going to get the reprieve because we're going to get slammed because Super Bowl ends tomorrow. It's going to hit us.
So you got a mad rush to get what you need to get to your. So my question is, Randall, what do you do when you have multiple Valentines? How do you prioritize what you're going to get?
Well,
cards for each, or just do an e-card?
Who do you like more?
Yeah. What if you don't have anybody? I see these girls on TikTok, or I saw the memes out there for Single Appreciation Day, all crying. I don't have anybody. Nobody loves me.
Well, I can't really give advice to them other than be nicer, be more feminine. But for like guys, like shoot. So I'm probably not going to have anybody like this Tuesday. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go out. I'm going to make some money. I'm going to make money off of the people who have to take their girls out.
Yeah. You're going to drive, right?
Yeah. It's like use this as an opportunity to either, if you guys want to try to go find some lady nights, the 14th, the 15th, the girls who weren't able to get somebody to take them out, you can do that. But all these big holidays, people like make such a big deal out of it. It's like, just do something else. Figure out something else you can do.
Right.
This is my thing about Valentine's Day. If you need a day to do something to express how you feel for somebody in your life, then you're an idiot. Like, you could be having Valentine's Day Valentine's Day should be every day. They shouldn't just be one day out of the year that they decide to, I'm going to be nice to him and I'm going to do something special. It's like, no, that should be a daily thing. Like if you are with somebody, you shouldn't have to wait for one day to do everything special. You shouldn't treat them like shit 364 days out of the year. And then the one day you're like, okay, here's your day.
Oh, but that happens. There's married couples that have been married and together for a while. And there's an expectation that that's their romance day, or at least somewhere around there. I can remember when I was a young guy and I was a couple with my first wife, and I was at work with another guy. It was like, hey, let's get together as couples and do this Valentine's Day, because you know what that means if we do something special. was kind of reminds me, which it was kind of funny because that's implying, this guy had been married a long time too. Like if we do something special, what comes after that, as if you had to do it on Valentine's Day because of this social pressure, that, you have to use this day. And I think that this is it's an interesting phenomenon. I think it's a Western phenomenon that's been commercialized a lot.
Every holiday has been commercialized in America.
Except
it is
Father's
pretty
Day.
interesting,
Except Father's Day. Father's Day is the least commercialized day.
Well, no, they commercialize it, but they do it for the mothers.
That's true. You could be both parents.
It's Father's Day. Step up.
Yeah. I wonder, do you think how much of an effect does Valentine's Day have on dead bedrooms? Do you think it leads to it, or do you think it's just a side effect?
It's the one day that if you have a dead bedroom, you have a little bit of life in there.
Interesting concept, because I think it depends. It depends. And I'm going to get to Raith. It depends on the frame you already have, because I think if you really already have kind of that beta frame, that at least on that day you can fantasize that you're a Sigma and get something. But if you're already kind of have that frame, you don't need that day. In fact, you can use that day to your advantage, which is what I'll get to, is you can use these commercial holidays if you are a social creature to gain pre-selection or pre-approval and actually enhance your relationship, because women love that social acknowledgement and attention. And if you can do that and give her the opportunity to say, do a post or get some of her girlfriends to say, oh, you're so lucky, something like that, you could really use this holiday to your own advantage with spending very, very little money. But it takes a little bit here and a little social acuity. What do you say to that, Raith? It depends on your frame, right?
Yeah, I've never really celebrated Valentine's Day because I just have to question what kind of women guys date that has to be something special for.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it.
But people. Yeah. I mean, you've known women that care about the outward look of, it is a special day. I wish I could get some attention on that. Right.
I think what you take the whole thing and you look at it this perspective. Why did it get commercialized?
Yeah.
Because they were trying to get more men to spend more money on women.
Ah,
okay.
Correct.
So you go back into it wasn't very popular in the 30s because no one had money.
Mm-hmm.
So you get into the 40s and the 50s after, right before the war and then after the war, when we had the big economic booms.
Yeah.
And it became really, really prioritized in the late 40s, early 50s. But who had control of all the money, and who were they trying to get to spend money?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they were trying to get men to spend money on women. And you take a holiday, which is for a saint that, which even the Catholic Church basically quit celebrating that saint in 1969.
Yeah.
But like I said, that was the purpose behind it. The purpose behind it was to get men to spend money on women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And women got used to that benefit, and it became, like no longer a benefit to them. It was an entitlement.
Interesting. It is entitled. I want to get you guys' reaction on this particular TikTok, because our good buddies over at Fresh and Fit had this young lady on, and she was so inculcated with the value of this day, and having missed out because some guys like us, we really don't pay attention to it. She really took it to heart. This is how strong that indoctrination and emotional attachment is to, what this represents out there. And I found it interesting, but kind of sad too. Let's add it to the stream. And here it is.
Before you play, I want to say something what Glenn said.
Yeah.
He's right. If your relationship is dying all year long and you're trying to use Valentine's Day as a way to pump up the life back into the relationship, you're doing something wrong. But relationships aren't set up to be exclusive to the benefit of the female or exclusive to the benefit of the male. Because if you're working in conjunction with each other, you should be working for the betterment of the couple in whatever role that you're in, whether it's the male role or the female role. And if you're not doing that, I guess it's a cheap date. If you can't get laid, it's a way to get laid by your wife on a cheap date. So.
A way to avoid some responsibility and actually planning and getting something ready. Hey, it's a national holiday. Here it is. And it does affect the women and how they view their relationships. Here's this young woman, and she's been raised her whole life with this Valentine's, and they're asking her a really simple question, which I can ask you guys too, which is really pretty simple. What's the most interesting or expensive gift you've ever gotten on Valentine's Day? I have a pretty interesting answer to that I have to be careful on how I answer, but we can have some fun with it. And it made me love Valentine's Day. So here we go.
Valentine's gift y'all ever got?
Oh, that's a good one.
All right. Yeah, and I'll work our way. Most expensive Valentine's Day gift you ever got, Venezuela?
From a man.
No, I never had gifts from a guy.
Never?
No.
Stop the cat. Come on. Like a present for your birthday.
There, flowers.
No.
Christmas time.
I mean, yeah, flowers.
Just flowers?
That's the most expensive gift you ever got?
I never got gifts.
Into the mic.
No.
What?
Why is that different?
So you never got an expensive gift from a guy?
You okay?
She put a lot of value on it.
I'm drunk, bro. Who's that? Fuck him.
The hell?
Why is that so?
What the fuck is going on?
Bro, this is wild.
Yo, what the hell?
2 days in a row?
I guess 2 days in a row?
Yeah.
Why do girls keep crying on this podcast, bro?
I don't know. No, you know what it is?
Man?
Valentine's Day's coming up. They got nobody.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's
So interestingly enough, let me get that back out of there. She took it pretty seriously, indoctrinated by the propaganda of a St. Valentine's Day. Attention is supreme in girl world, and she didn't get the attention she wanted on Valentine's Day, and when she was called publicly on it, she didn't feel too good about it and cried. They kind of made fun of her, but I kind of felt sorry for her because that's very childish and it's kind of a sad thing. What do you guys take on the girls that really put that much effort or that much value into Valentine's Day? You guys ever know any of them?
I can tell you, I've never really had a good Valentine's Day. It never really meant anything to me until I got with the girl I'm with now. Now, I was in a motorcycle accident, and I remember last year I just got my first cortisone shot at my back, the day before. My back was all jacked up, and she wanted to do something special for Valentine's Day, and I'm like, whatever. And I'm thinking oh, here's just another day that I gotta fork out some cash, right? Yeah. Well, I come in the living room and she has this whole thing set up like a fort, like a tent, with all these lights, dingly lights and everything. It looked amazing. And she wanted for us to lay down on the ground and watch movies. Now, mind you, I just had this cortisone shot at my back, so I couldn't even get to the ground. I felt so bad because I fucking ruined Valentine's Day because I couldn't participate in her idea. But it was really, it was a beautiful, amazing, expression of it. And normally I'd never been on the receiving end of it. So I'm thinking, did you do this for yourself? And she's like, no, this is for you. I was like, oh, damn. Well, I can't even participate. I can't get down there. But but other than that, that's that wasn't the only time I've already had Valentine's Day that was actually designed or thought of for the guy, for me, in Valentine's Day. It was neat, but I ruined it. So
yeah, I get that. I bet you actually didn't ruin it. I have.
No, I did. We didn't do anything that day. I didn't do anything that day. A couple days later, we went up to our favorite restaurant.
You made up for it.
Our favorite Cuban restaurant in Habanas, and we celebrated there. But that was it.
There you go. There you go. So I have done some special things on Valentine's Day because, if I'm going to give you guys the guys that are listening right now, and by the way, guys, subscribe, hit the like button. I have a new war horn if you guys, and a call. If you guys want to hear it, throw me a super chat and ask some questions, man. And we'll get at it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and get out there. Subscribe to Glenn's channel and subscribe to Raith. And Randall will be having a channel up soon. We're going to get a lot of content out there for you guys. Pillow giving us a chat. I see. Well, you're a good girl. But, you know, I think Valentine's Day is a huge tool
So
to leverage.
there she goes. She's telling everybody, yeah, like she bought the oil to massage my back since I was in pain.
Nice.
I couldn't even get on the ground. It was funny.
No, she's
I
a
love you,
sweetie.
babe. You're great.
Yeah, but you know, I think something like an anniversary can be really more important than something like a commercialized Valentine's Day. You know, I find it pretty entertaining the weight that some people put on it, particularly the beta guys that aren't really scoring well with the girls, really rushing around trying to. The young guys wanting to get that Valentine's Day commercialized and get it put together. There's certainly some red pill lessons in Valentine's Day, though, for sure, guys. You know, you can definitely overdo it. And what value are you getting? Is there any return on investment? I'm sure there was a return on investment for Glenn because Coco's that kind of gal that would definitely appreciate any effort that he put forth. I guess that's what really counts on something like a Valentine's Day is the effort that's put forth, you know. Pretty much basically any other day. But, you know, the girl I played that was crying, that's not unusual. Why do you think they get so emotionally tied into something like that? And they tie it into their self-worth.
It's an entitlement thing. It's a social thing. Like girls, check out other girls. If the other girls are not getting Valentine's Day gift, what does that say to the other girls? You are not worthy enough. Guys don't find you worthy enough to spend money for you. But look, my boyfriend over here, Jeffrey, got me this thing for Valentine's Day, and your boyfriend doesn't love you enough because he didn't get you anything. So you must not be a good girlfriend. It's almost like, you know, the good monkey or whatever. How does talk about it? Like the good chimp.
Useful.
Yeah, you're not a good chimp if you don't get a Valentine's Day gift, according, you know, in that mindset.
Yeah, and as a guy, you're not useful if you didn't get one. So useful, and yeah, that's a great analogy, by the way. But yeah, I do see there's a lot of pedestalization and advocacy for pedestalization of the gals on Valentine's Day, you know?
Well, so us guys we're pretty competitive, but women are also competitive, and they're just competitive in other ways. It's like us guys, it's pretty upfront what we're competitive about. They're very on the sly and subtle about theirs. So it's like, I got my man to spend this. I got my guy to do this. And so when somebody isn't even in the competition, those women will save that. And you know how women are when they argue? They'll save something you said that little bit ago. They'll bring it out months later. They do this amongst themselves.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And I want to challenge Coco a little bit. When you're in a relationship, I 100% agree. But what happens when you're in that dating relationship? I think, in fact, I believe that if you're in that first part of the dating cycle, and if Valentine's Day falls anywhere within, you know, you're not quite a serious relationship, but you're kind of getting very close, and there might be other gals that the competition for them gals is really high. And I will bet you that Valentine's Day becomes important, much more important. Once the lockdown happens, while there might be an expectation, it seems to be something that can be shelved. That's been my experience. Anybody else have a comment on that?
I think, you know what, if guys, here's my recommendation for guys that are you know, want to do something for Valentine's Day. Hit up New Metal Chemist. Get yourself some these oil, these pheromone oil colognes. All right, from New Metal Chemist, and go buy some cheap, you know, flowers, and you will see you'll get victory, because those pheromones in that perfume or cologne that he has, you know, will do the thing. And ladies, he got some stuff for you too. You can make your own cologne out of your own juices. You know what I'm talking about?
Juices, your own pheromones.
Yeah, but it comes from the juices, from your juices. You know, you got to skeet a little bit and get your juices.
Yeah. Well, Coco, No, it didn't for you. You were married to a man 13 years and never celebrated Valentine's Day. Well, doesn't that make the argument that maybe you should have? Just kidding you, girl. But no, I do think that you could certainly use it to your advantage if you're out there dating. I think there's an underlying expectation when you're dating that if there is a Valentine's Day, I think around any commercialized holiday, there's an expectation. I can remember expectations of my first wife around holidays. It was just so important to her. Any holiday, whether it's Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, with the exception of Father's Day, but every single holiday was like the biggest deal in the world for some reason. There's people out there just like that. So there are definitely gals that hold it in high esteem, and I think it has a lot to do with that pre-selection. What Glenn said about being able to say, look, girls, look what I got, or what Randall said. Hey, we got us a super chat. Let's get it up there. Guys, focus on your money, muscles, game, and frame, and you won't get baited by Valentine's Day commercial. I'm going to give you our new sound drop. Listen carefully to the war horn and the war cry. Yeah, thank you. I think you don't get baited. If you guys have money, muscles, game, and frame, you're going to use that frame to use Valentine's Day to your advantage. You might actually get 2 plates to celebrate Valentine's Day together. Enough said. We make special presents for those kind of days, shall we say. Why are you laughing there, Randall? You might have seen a couple of those special Valentines, I suppose.
No, I'm agreeing with you. It's definitely
right on.
Those who focus on the core four, definitely have more success than most guys out there.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to MLD. I know he's still on tour. Big part of this show for sure, is what Modern Life Dating has put out there. He's kind of helped us all in this environment. Glenn, you got to meet MLD last week. Yeah, what a good trip we had out there in Vegas, guys. Wish you were there. Randall, you were there. Unfortunately, we kind of missed out.
It was the second time I met him. I met him originally in San Diego.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we did the speech, and you were there. Yep. How could I forget that, man? You had your shoulder harness on.
Yep.
So since we're talking about him, let's just throw a plug that he hit over 100K.
Oh, I knew he was close. He finally did it. He was going to do it. 100K subscribers.
On that, for sure.
That's great. Awesome. I knew he was doing the tour. So shout out to MLD.
Yeah, he's up in Toronto right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a great time on Rule Zero. He was
with Apex Mindset right now. He's with Paul.
Yeah, they just did a stream too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to catch it, but I'm sure it was really good. Did you catch it, Glenn? Yeah, so that was really good. No doubt about it. But yeah, Bunny Muscles Game Frame. Shout out to MLD. If you're able to use your frame on Valentine's Day, that's really what I think matters a ton. Guys, we've got 25 guys in the chat. I've got, it looks like 11 likes. Help me out there, and I'll give you another war horn. Get those likes up and get those subscribes up. And then be sure and do me a favor and go over to the DragonShip channel and go ahead and hit the likes and subscribes there. And the same with Glenn Laurence. Glenn, you just did some shows, while we're in this section, while we're waiting for some chat. We're open for any questions and answers. Appreciate the super chats, but go ahead. We've got an open Q&A. Love to hear from you guys. We got to meet new metal chemists back in Vegas. We could talk about Vegas. We can talk about everything that's coming up. I believe we had launched in the last few weeks the Trident on the DragonShip, so we've announced that here. And we got some new shows coming out. Glenn, you got stuff you're working on right now?
Yeah, I just released last night another episode of the Late Night Breakdown podcast.
And that was
myself and Phil Foster. It's about 2.5 hours long. I mean, if you guys want to watch, there's some satire comedy in there, and there's some serious topics in there. It's a good episode. It's a really good episode. I know for a fact Danny Arnold already watched it because he's a champ like that. He was probably the first one to watch it. But yeah, it just released last night. It was good. It was good.
Yep. So is that the real Hudsman in our chat right there?
Yeah, that's Huds.
Huds, you want to jump in and tell us what the right thing to do on Valentine's Day is right now? Welcome to do so. I'll drop a chat.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if
We'll jump in. Tell us that, because I know he's really up to speed on this whole leveraging Valentine's Day, which I think he should actually. I think that's one of the best things. Oh, look what we have here. Abdel. New super chat. You didn't hear the war horn? Well, I'll do it again, brother. It's the new war horn. Now, there's a reason behind that one. Rollo made me an intro into Rule 0 for this week. If you haven't seen it, go on Twitter and look. There's some crazy Viking bastard that jumps off a cliff into an icy pond and screams Odin.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It was pretty damn amazing, I got to say. And we had a big laugh about that. Thank you, Abdel. Appreciate that. No doubt about it. All right, we'll see. See if we can get Huds to jump in and talk about this. So with that, tell me, Glenn, tell me a little bit about your variety show that went on to your channel and the DragonShip, because I don't think we officially announced the late night on the DragonShip before.
Yeah, so this episode, we talk about, well, I have an exclusive interview with Dr. Phil that's on there. And Dr. Phil stopped by, did a one-on-one interview with him. Mm-hmm. And then I had me and Phil were talking about Ricky Red Pill. That was fun. And then we talk about some serious stuff like, well, there's a clip of The Bitter Bachelor. And then
your reenactments, I gotta say, your reenactments, they're pretty fun. Shall I say your imitations and reenactments are pretty fun. I enjoy it.
And then we talked about how to fix marriage, the marriage divorce issue. We talk about that. And then we end with why do women think they could get away with this? And it's women assaulting men.
Oh, yeah.
Guys knocking them out. So.
Yeah, we did something like that on the DragonShip quite a while back, got in a little trouble for it. So that's pretty interesting.
So yeah,
it's a variety of a bunch of different things, right?
Yeah, it's a variety show.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I look forward to it. I haven't caught the whole episode yet, so I'm sure I'll be a big giant fan.
Yeah, if you guys have like 2.5 hours, because we record it multiple times throughout like the month. Yeah. And they're topics that we just don't want to release on their own. We don't want to one-off them. We want to put them together in a collective. So it's something to watch when you guys have nothing to do on a weekend. And, you want to watch something, it's more like late TV. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, well,
put it on when you're on the treadmill.
Yeah. Looks like Huds is going to try to jump in and he'll talk to us a little bit about what his plan on, because I want to hear a plan. I want to hear the plan that guys use that's effective on Valentine's Day, using it for themselves, a little bit of red pill stuff. It looks like we got New Metal Chemist wants to come in and ask a question. This is New Metal Chemist is interesting. This guy is a chemist that puts together perfumes. And since we're talking about Valentine's Day, I threw the invite out there and see if you want to talk about a little bit. But Valentine's Day, we buy the perfume, part of the commercialism. This guy has a super interesting take because he uses actual pheromones and can personalize pheromones within, we had some samples that are pretty amazing.
Ladies, he's the guy that if you want to give him your juices, he'll make perfume for you.
Well, there's some interesting stuff. I'm going to add him to the stream. Hopefully he'll come in nice and clear. But there's some interesting things about pheromones. They've done some tests about certain bodily fluids at certain times of the month. And then there were some traditions in certain countries where they would, put this because the pheromones actually works. They would actually rub this stuff on their bodies. I remember seeing a brief article on pheromones and that was used. New Metal Chemist, can you hear us?
I can hear you, brother. Can you hear
You
me?
sound good, man. You sound good. You got your mask on right now?
Oh, I can throw it on. I'll take a second to
All right, you don't
find
have to.
it.
Yeah, we like to see our guys on video.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what your take on the Valentine's situation is, and if you use it to your advantage, or if the girls have expectations that are rather unrealistic.
Well, it's interesting. I hosted the infamous Galentines last year and had some girls over. It was just a group of gals, and they wanted some heady perfumes and aphrodisiac potions before they went out to party. But it's an interesting time because I more celebrate the pagan tradition of Lupercalia, which has a little bit different connotation than Valentine's
Educate
Day.
our listeners on how it ties in, because I think that's an interesting tie-in.
Yeah,
Lupercalia, talking about lubricant. Are you just getting some chaos?
Well, there is some
pun
natural...
intended. No, it's it's a festival. It's a very, just like a lot of pagan festivals, it can be very carnal, have to do with romance, have to do with connection, with bonding, with pair bonding. It can also get a little wild as well with some of the traditions associated with it. But yeah, there's lots of feasting, there's lots of fucking, there's lots of
nudity,
indulging.
great.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, us pagans sometimes, heathen bastard. Anyway, yeah, continue on. Tell it. That sounds great. Now, with the perfumes and all of that, tell me a little bit about the pheromones, and then we'll get to the Valentine's Day stuff and the tie-in. Well, let's do this. When you're talking about this lubrication day, I mean, lubrication, anyway, how does that tie into Valentine's Day? Does it just tie into the same season as a celebration?
Yeah. So it's where at least the tradition kind of came from, and then even around, say, like winter solstice time, we have Saturnalia, which is another kind of a pagan holiday that also gets very primal. But in the case of the pheromones and at least the festivities at this time, it's a time of bonding, it's a time of partying, it's a time of rebirth as well, or getting closer to that rebirth with the spring coming along. And when it comes to the pheromones, at least, like one of the big issues that we're facing today is there's a lot of hormone disruption with both men and women, and there's a lot of reasons for this with things introduced in the environment. Hormonal birth control has also played a major role in that. So how I at least construct all the chemistry that I engage in, whether it's herbal extractions to eat or to wear, I like working at it from a place of tradition and using things that are primal, that are carnal, that take people back to what it was, and actually reap those.
You use a scientific method in doing this, so you're actually talking about trying to identify these pheromones, which actually exist, much like hormones, as these aromatized signals or indicators that cause a response. And you're looking at these and you incorporate them somehow without degrading them into odors or scents, right?
Yep.
And, and that is your business. And so you're doing the research on that. You've done some of the research on that. And I noticed that you said hormonal birth control has been a factor. Now, we know that hormonal birth control amongst women can have an effect on mate choice, or at least short-term mate choice, right? Would that be more accurate?
Yeah, that would be 100% accurate. Yeah, because if
it's countering it with something. Is that part of the marketing?
So countering it, because the thing is it doesn't only affect women who are on hormonal birth control. All the men that hang around with them on a regular basis, it also impacts them as well. Because what's best for men is to be surrounded by ideally fertile young ladies. That's what boosts our testosterone. So with what these pheromones do is whether or not a woman is on hormonal birth control, preferably she's not. There's a lot of other contraceptives that are available that aren't going to mess up her whole system and also the men around her. But I specifically work with pheromones that are found during peak ovulation, and they're great for both men and women to wear. And then I also like working with some of the prime pheromones for men with high testosterone as well.
And how does that work?
Like how does it work together? Well, it chemically speaking, even though most people aren't aware of this, so we're definitely more attracted to women when they're on peak ovulation. They have a different scent, they have a different smell. Sometimes they'll dress differently. You know, there's some ovulatory shift stuff that goes on. But when it comes to being a man, it's actually good to smell like you have these. They're called copulins. Is kind of the faction or section of these pheromones. Copulins.
Interesting. Yep. Now, I bet the research is rather interesting. How do you field test this? That's what I was getting at. Great. Look who we
the
have
pervious
in
chemist
the
you've ever
house.
met.
Nice. Look who we have in the house. You're going to get the new war horn, HUDs. Here we go. Look at, we got Alex from the Hudsman.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course, man. Old home week. Tell me, this is your area of expertise. Valentine's Day, the stress, the pressure, the social stigmas of a man forgetting Valentine's Day. What's your take, man? I think you can leverage this as a tool beyond belief.
Yeah, no, it's wild. And one of the things I wanted to focus on with this, it's paying attention to your partner, paying attention to the girl that you're with. So every girl's a little bit different. Some girls, they want gifts. Some girls, they want trips and experiences. Some girls, they just need words of affirmation. And I know that comes from whatever that book is. But it's interesting. Like even just this past year, I didn't get a single gift for my girlfriend for Christmas. It didn't matter. It did not matter because what's important to her is trips, experiences, and words of affirmation. That's it. And so it's very important to understand the person that you're with and understand what is important to them. That is the biggest thing because we always focus on, oh, we got to get them flowers, chocolates, and will you have sex with me now? Like, no, you need to pay attention to the actual
Isn't that buying the gift or something? Isn't that creating the experience? I mean, it's a commercial way to create an experience.
It can be, depending on, it's a commercial way of creating experience, and you can use it. I mean, there's one time I remember back, another girl I was dating years ago. One of the things that I did is right before our Uber was dropping us off, there was a 7-Eleven right before, and I asked the Uber driver to stop there because I needed something. I walked in, and I got a rose, and I came out to the car, and I handed it to her. She loved that. Absolutely loved that. Because I turned the entire thing. She loved experiences. So we had the experience of being out, doing all these things, seeing this place, and then, the finality before we got back home is that rose and that experience of I appreciate you and I love you. And she was not expecting it. So I would say the most important thing is not about the gifts or whatever. It's all about how you go about things.
No, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is for people that don't have the game or the skill or the understanding of women, it's an easy way to create an experience. I just go buy something. She has the experience. All right.
Well, it's the quickest way to try to get a transactional sex. That's for damn sure.
look at Danny. If
It's
she
the
says no, do
quickest
you
way to
have
get transactional sex. I mean, like hey, I bought these flowers.
Yeah.
How about you let me pollinate your flowers?
Well, I'm just saying, but it's affirmation. It's a commercial way to affirm and give affirmation, the experience and stuff. And like I said, it's we as men have gotten lazy, you know, in the sense that we allow to be manipulated, commercially manipulated in order to do things to create those experiences.
I would argue that it's that we're not paying attention. I think as men, we need to start paying more attention.
Okay.
I think the women need to pay more attention to us. However, look at Danny Arnold. He's cracking me up. Look at this shit. If she says no, do you have to contact a covert contract attorney? Good one, Danny. That's funny as hell. Yeah. I'll put it this way. I'm going to agree with Myron. I think women deserve less on Valentine's Day, but I think you can do more in their mind.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. You're not playing, you know, whether you're in a relationship or you're outside a relationship and you're trying to be in a relationship, you know, and you know this, and most everybody on here knows this. When you're in a relationship, it's game, but it's a different type of game. All right. And as you're sitting there going through that process, you have to constantly create dread experiences, all these things that they, you know, that you hear all the PUAs or the game guys talk about. We don't do that naturally anymore. Most men don't do that naturally anymore. They've got to be prompted into doing it.
See, I don't know if women. Here's the thing. I don't know if women deserve less, because if a guy wants to get his girl something, and he really wants to get her a specific gift, I'm not going to tell the dude that no, you shouldn't get her that. She deserves less, because if that's in his frame to bless her with that or to give her something like that, then that's his thing, right? That's
Glenn, the whole thing with where Myron's coming from isn't that they deserve less when it comes to gift giving and things like that. It's just they need to lower their expectations. I think that's really what he's.
Well,
I
think so too.
That's a problem with verbiage, though. If you're telling guys that women deserve less, guys are like on the spectrum out here. They're gonna go and buy a 25-cent toy and be like, "Well, Myron said y'all deserve less, so this is what you get." You know,
It's a good thing for guys like us, Glenn. We want that.
I think you need to clarify that. Like, you know, if it's in your frame to get your girl something elaborate, you feel that she deserves it, do your thing, fellas. But don't be mad if she doesn't put out, though. Don't get the gift with the contingency of, if I get this, she's gonna get this, because now you turned your relationship to a transactional relationship, and you're only getting this thing in hopes of getting something else.
And she's going to expect a gift every single time you're looking for that transaction.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys. Here's a good one. Here's the tip. Here's tip of the day. You go to the ice cream man, you know, the guy that comes around in the truck that goes ding, 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 you know, and it stops. And they got these little rings that have diamonds on them. You buy 6 of them and you pass those out to your girls for Valentine's Day. They got a ring on Valentine's Day. It's wonderful. It's such a sweet treat. And it touches them at such a deep level that you go to the ice cream truck and get her a sweet treat. How romantic. And you never have to one-up it. And the expectation is very low.
But the point I would say is, you know, don't let consumerism manipulate, you know, your process of how you operate within a relationship. You know,
there you go.
I agree with Glenn. If you think a woman deserves something, get it for her. You know, if you feel, hey, I want to do this for her, do it. But, you know, like I said, it shouldn't be every day, and it shouldn't be she shouldn't start developing an expectation for it.
There you go.
And, you know, that depends on the women you pick and bring into your life. You know, way too many guys, they look for, because it's easy, they look for that woman that's easily satisfied by transactional issues.
Boy, that's the truth. I think that's encouraged, actually.
Yeah.
I would say that the best gift that you can give a girl on Valentine's Day, women,
is your time.
they think with their mind and their ears. And to tell her, hey, I don't know, make up a name, Amanda, I really appreciate you. I love all the things you do for me, X, Y, and Z. And I'm so happy to be with you.
So, which is not bad advice at all. But I want to take a step back just to kind of generate more conversation. Out of this group, who is not in a long-term relationship? New metal chemist, are you in a long-term relationship?
I am not right now.
Great,
but,
guys.
I'm
Answer
open
this
to
question.
Yeah.
Answer these questions then. You heard the approach from someone in a long-term relationship. It was actually very much an answer from only that perspective, which is always, when we run into things like this, kind of our first answer, right? So I want to step back and say, you're a guy that's dating. However dating's done with you, whether it's serial monogamy or whether you're dating and spinning plates. I expect if you're on this panel, you probably would be spinning plates. How would you approach using Valentine's Day to your advantage so that you get the outcome you want? Would it be any different, or would you do what HUD's is suggesting, which is the time thing or buying a gift randomly?
I just like taking gals on a journey, and that's a lot of how I leave my imprint, even if we're not long term. I've had to learn the hard way that I have to be careful on who I do that with. But
so you wouldn't just take all your plates to the pagan orgy? Because I kind of like that idea.
I mean, been there. Wouldn't necessarily always do it now. But like, say last night, for instance, was hanging out with this lovely gal and just showed her a good time. I make it pretty clear when things aren't really looking like they're going to be long-term. I'm in the process of moving as well and relocating. I travel a lot. So my long-term lady would have to be potentially a woman that's down to go on the road with me. And I just haven't found her yet. But in the meantime, who would I be to deprive ladies of a good time? So
right.
How I approach it.
So Randall, is this holiday pretty meaningless? Or if you were out there dating, would you use it to your advantage? Because I think I'm hearing guys in the longer-term relationship, it's really kind of meaning. It loses a bit of its meaning unless it's really important to the gal, and then we kind of utilize it as a reinforcement or words of affirmation, things like that. So, what are your thoughts if you're around that whole thing? If you're single and you're dating, is it any different than what it said?
So my thing is, like, Valentine's Day, it's supposed to be the day that you typically treat your girl. Fuck that. Treat yourself. Find something that you like, that you want to do, and invite her along. Bring her with you. Give her that option. If she's like, oh, I don't want to do that. All right, cool. Have a good day then. I'm doing this. And it's like, there's going to be plenty of events available because it is Valentine's Day. So use it to source events and have fun, but make it something that you'd enjoy. Don't throw yourself on the sword to go to some event that she's going to like. Go to something you'll like that just happens to line up on that day. And if you're busy that day, you're busy.
Damn, son. So you're going to that lubricacious day orgy celebration with new metal chemist, huh?
Here, I got an equation for guys to be able to figure out this Valentine's Day gift giving thing. Okay, simple. Right. Let's say the limit of the gift, your budget is. Let's say we're gonna cap it at $200. All right, so $200 is your budget. All right. Well, for $25, you subtract $25 every time the girl has told you no. All right. And then that's the amount of money that you spend on getting the gift. So if she told you no within that year 4 times, well, then now it's $100. She told you no 6 times, now it's $50. And there you go.
And you tell her this.
Yeah, you go, well, here's your gift. Why isn't it so nice and shiny? Well, because I didn't subtract all the time you didn't give me no ass, throughout the year. So
Glenn, can she earn special points, and can we get little brown stars that go up on the refrigerator? You know?
oh yeah, you can do that too.
You
can
get
do that.
little look at Randall. You can get little.
I'm imagining
Hey,
this. This
hey,
is
can we get
hilarious.
little brown stars, maybe chocolate starfishes, and we can use those on the
I
magnet?
was going to ask if you said brown for a specific reason versus gold.
It's scratch and sniff, you know. Scratch and sniff.
Oh, I like it. I like it. It works, man. It's kind of the little brownie point system, but in reverse, you know.
So in my moments of singledom during that, I didn't take anyone out on Valentine's. If I was spinning plates, none of them went out on Valentine's. If I was only with one girl,
Did they ask?
we weren't committed. We didn't go out.
Did they ask?
I don't care whether they ask. I wouldn't take them.
No. I mean, did they ask to do it?
I've never had one of them ask.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. It's what are you gonna do? Maybe they say, well, what are we gonna do on Valentine's? Nothing. We're not doing anything. I got plans.
Yeah, that's cool.
Going to the gun range.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the
Can I
fact
come?
that they're with you is more important than any holiday, right?
No. And can I go? Can I come with you? No. I just didn't take girls out. If I wasn't in a committed relationship, I would not put any effort into making them understand or appreciating them on that day.
Yeah, I like that. I like private parties on Valentine's Day. Everything's too crowded anyway, you know.
So I wanted to go back to the pagan thing because as he was talking, I was thinking about something. Does those holidays create a social construct? Okay, because if you go back after we were into the farming and industrial age, okay, was it important that women bear children at a specific time of the year? Okay, I'm just saying, was it specific? Because think of it this way: if you're running a village, you would prefer to have all your women pregnant at the same time and birthing around the same time, so that they were free to help harvest in the fall. And if they got pregnant in February, they wouldn't be actually delivering until November, December timeframe. And then they would actually be back in shape to go out into the fields and plant.
I'm ready to go back there. Let's go ahead and go, Raith.
It's efficient, but we might be heading back there whether we like it or not. But for now, it is what it is.
So put a holiday where people can actually, couples can go get pregnant during a certain time frame.
There was fertility holidays, yeah. Yeah, and they did use, I am familiar with the fact that they used these astronomical monolith calendars they would make to see certain times of the year that would revolve around harvest, and fertility is a big part of that. There's a lot of fertility things that go on at certain times of the year in these pagan traditions. And when you say fertility, it's about producing children, which is number 2 on the list of hierarchies, which is survive, get that food. And so that fits very nicely in with some of these traditions. And here is this vestige. I'm going to say a vestige. Phil would look at me and say, I have no chill, but I'll use this vestige of this old tradition that is now Valentine's Day. And somehow we folded Cupid, who's this amazing god that has a red pill on an arrow, into this this celebration and this commercialized. I mean, it's commercialized. That's, who cares? I think that's pretty ingenious, really. Make money on this old pagan holiday and make girls cry. Love it, man. That's an interesting thought experiment, though, Raith. I wonder if any of the paleontologists had really looked into that, but I would just assume there's some kind of connection there, just based on what I've known so far.
Yeah.
There has to be. It's the cycle of life, and spring is the season of rebirth. It makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at most fertility holidays, they start in February, March, and April.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We don't have a fertility holiday in July. There's just not one.
No.
It's also the reason why.
Unless you count spring break.
Right. Well, that's March.
Right. Spring break's a fertility holiday, right?
Yeah.
When you think about it, though, why are most people born in like September and October? It's because we have now commercialized New Year's Eve as like the moment of rebirth, and that's when a lot of people end up getting pregnant. But it makes more sense for it to be February. I see everything you're saying. That's really interesting. Like, I don't know, really interesting.
Like I said, socially, it's more socially beneficial. You know, if
Yeah.
you look at the social trappings of a village or a small kingdom, it's more beneficial.
I think so too. I like it. I think that'd be cool. Can we get a vote and just change the eggplant and peach to the official Valentine Day emojis? Raith got it. Chat, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Come on, somebody's got to throw a super chat. You want to hear the new war horn and the cry for Odin? Let's get some of this out there. Chat, do you guys have any questions? It's going to be open for questions. I sure appreciate Husband coming on, new metal chemist, chopping up all this old Valentine's Day stuff every year. We got to kind of chop it up on it and have some fun.
I get a question for you guys.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to go round table. So let's say that your girl gives you shit about not doing enough for Valentine's Day. How do you handle it?
All right, I'll go first. I appreciate you every day. One special day is not going to be any better than the rest of it, because I love you and I appreciate you every day of the year.
Sure.
I wish I had my stream deck set up, because I want to give that a fucking horn.
Do it this way.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
That's great, Raith.
I guess I'm more of the scorched earth. I just tell her bye. It's like, I do a lot for you. If you can't recognize that, that's your problem, not mine. Have fun. Bye.
Randall, you ever been in a long-term relationship?
Yes.
Okay. And why didn't it last?
Because she actually came out as a lesbian.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying.
That's the church for you.
It's understanding that in a relationship is different. Okay. You have a responsibility to maintain and steward the relationship if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you're doing that, you're going to have to find ways to give her affirmation. Okay. And way too many guys try to buy that affirmation all the time.
But if she's sitting here complaining about one day, when it's like you do provide that affirmation outside of it.
Well, I get where you're coming from and how you feel about it, but the reality of it is you can only God, I'm gonna sound like a male chauvinist. You can only drive so much of her behavior. She's still going to have contact with other women in her family and stuff like that, and they're going to start driving expectations too. Your job is to steer the relationship so that you can manage that. But ultimately, she is going to have the ability to have free will and thought, and you've got to be able to respond to that in a way that maintains your frame and keeps the relationship your frame centric.
I think one thing that's important to bring up when it comes to holidays too is if you fall short on a holiday and she gets upset with it, look, exactly everything that Ray said. It's just one day and it's forced on them. This day is forced on us. So I do everything every other day and I fell short on this one day. But just because commercially they said that this is a day that I'm supposed to do more and I fell short, you know what? I'm sorry, but I just did. It is what it is. It's just one day.
Yeah, but in reality, why the one day? Because her senses or her awareness of it is heightened. Okay, that's why the one day. Now, the reality of it is, if she's complaining on that one day, you're probably not paying attention the rest of the year either. All right.
Boom, baby.
And she just has her awareness up on that one day, and she's saying something to you. But like I said, if you're maintaining a relationship and you're maintaining a relationship within your frame, I don't think you're ever going to have that conversation. I never heard it.
All right, so I'll continue on with that thought. If I was approached with that question, why didn't I do enough on Valentine's Day? There's a much deeper issue. Much, much, much greater issue. Even if I was dating the girl and it wasn't something too serious. If it was in the long term, if that was mentioned on a holiday and I had known her for some time, I would have to realize, does she have an expectation that was broadcast that wasn't met? Or did I not meet? I did not lay my boundaries out. There's something going on here. I would think she's being influenced by friends. The first thing, just knowing that, if the woman that I would be dating wouldn't even come up with something like that. So, but if she did, it would be a call to attention, not so much about the holiday, but about there's something going on here that if she's asking me why I didn't do enough, there's an expectation of hers. This extends much further out beyond just a single holiday. Even though this might be her opportunity to launch this communication at you and just kind of tell you that there's an expectation not being met, it may have nothing to do with the holiday. But you have got work to do at this point if you want to maintain a relationship. Or, it might just be a kind of a wake-up call. I mean, it could be any number of things. If she's having an issue with you on Valentine's Day, you're not doing enough, her work husband may be doing more. And she's asking you to step up. I mean, let's be red pill here. If she's launching this at you, there's a reason. Now, if you know her and she has a high holiday expectation to make her feel validated, she needs external validation on holidays to make her feel secure in a relationship, then you got a choice to make. It might be something you want to put in your reminder list to keep her going until you can, establish a level of conditioning with her to where it matches your comfort level. That's kind of my long answer, because there's, but when you get something out of the blue like that, that's specific to a day, it's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the excuse.
No, yeah. Let me add something on that. If you have a frame and you understand what your frame is, and you see that as, pushing a boundary, then you need to look across. I agree with Thor. You need to look across the whole relationship, because if she's pushing that boundaries, there's other things that you've missed in the relationship as it goes along. Understanding your frame and knowing, having knowledge of your frame, your wants, desires, and how you present yourself and how you want people to perceive you. Those set boundaries. You may not write down the boundaries, but it sets a boundary. And when you feel that there's push against that boundary, you need to start asking, why is that push happening? Because women don't become viral, just out of the blue.
It's a warning sign.
Right. There's a little erosion going on in the relationship, and she's perceiving something that she's not seeing in you. And you do the same thing. She has boundaries. Even though she lives within your frame, she has a frame that lives inside that frame. And she has boundaries. And she has needs, desires, wants. And if you're not meeting those, that means that you're not being a good steward of a relationship.
Danny brings up a good point on this very thing. Danny is talking in the chat about some women go out on Valentine's Day to kind of do that mate securing with you, doing a little bit of mate protection with you. They'll go overboard and do all these fun things and use it as an excuse. Nothing wrong with that, If we don't have anything else to add on that particular question, did everybody answer that question? I don't think Glenn did. Huds, did everybody answer that question for you?
What was the question?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. But Glenn, essentially we were saying what to do if your girl gives you a hard time for you not giving enough on Valentine's Day, how to handle that. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Shit, what I do 364 days out of the year matters more than this one goddamn day.
Exactly.
So all I gotta say about that.
Right. So there is a question that come up. I'm going to give Glenn a chance to address it. So Stefano Salvador Soro wants to ask a question about Ricky Red Pill. Now, really, that should be a super chat, Stefano, since it's going to be specific to one of the panel members. It'd really help out, and we'd love to answer that question. But, let's answer it now. We don't really want to get too involved in it. But so there's this guy named Ricky Red Pill. Glenn's very familiar, and he's done some reenactments and some corrections. And there's a little bit of beef out there about changing ideologies of the Red Pill. I am going to call you on it right now, Stefano. The Red Pill is not an ideology. And it is no way, shape, or form a belief series set or an ideology at all. So we don't want to start calling the Red Pill an ideology at all from this perspective, because that's not what it is. However, I'll let Glenn answer, because I think that this is what Ricky's trying to do. So, Glenn, have at it, man.
All right. Now, let me give you guys some timeline here. Now, Pretty Ricky, first, in my opinion, became popular by coming on Saucecast, because I never even heard of this guy before. Comes on Saucecast, says he's the president of the Red Pill. Self-proclaimed at that. Mind you, anybody that has self-proclaimed themselves to be the president of anything in this space has become a fucking idiot. All right, they're dumb, they're stupid, they don't know what they're talking about, because the space doesn't need a leader. Okay, there's not a leader. The space is information. Red Pill is a praxeology. So when this guy came out and said he's the president of this space, and all of a sudden he's been Red Pill. If you just look at his timeline, I've done so many videos on this guy that he's such an idiot. Like, he says he's been Red Pill since college, but then he divorced his wife 3-4 years ago, and they ask her why. He said because the Matrix got her, or the system got her. And it's like, so wait a minute, you weren't Red Pill enough to eliminate this from happening? No, I wasn't Red Pill enough because I wasn't masterful enough back then. And I'm going to be making a book, but then again, I don't know the second title of my book.
But dude, he's the president. He's the president.
He's an idiot, is what he is. He's trying to make a cult. Okay, he's trying to make a cult. He's just a grifter that's coming into space. All he did was really he took some Jordan Peterson, a whole lot of Rollo Tomasi, and sprinkled in a little bit of wannabe religion on top of it, and he's calling it there's Ricorian Red Pill device, and there's laws, and it's a cult. It's a cult. This guy is trying to make a cult. And then when they asked him how many people has he Red Pilled, he said he didn't know. Why? Because he was too busy creating his podcast channel, trying to create some late night show that I don't know, he probably jacked from me and my idea. So it's just like this guy's a scam artist. This guy's a scam artist. And here's the even better thing. I even offered this guy to debate him. I said, look, man, me and you, we can talk about this. He's too scared to debate anybody. He doesn't want to debate anybody that's actually Red Pilled because he knows he has no fucking idea what he's talking about. He's a fucking scam. And I'll say right now, Ricky Red Pill is a fucking scam artist. He's trying to jack you guys' money. He wants you guys to buy into his bullshit so you could basically be blue pilled. That's all it is.
Okay, we got a good answer there. Appreciate it, Glenn. And once again, we're not trying to make it personal with Ricky. It's just that definitely, you guys, here's the thing.
I didn't make it, it's not personal. I'm just calling it what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's
right.
Facts. He's going to be misleading a lot of guys. And here's the thing: there's a lot of guys out there that actually come into space because they get hurt, they're damaged, and they need help, and they need a praxeology. They don't need rules and regulations. They need something that they need tools that will work. And this guy is taking what is supposed to be a space for help and abusing it for people. It's not good.
And that's what I wanted to drive at. So what happens with guys like this is they definitely they look at all the content that's been produced before. And they're basically trying to take what a lot of us have done, which is stand on the shoulders of giants and recommunicate this stuff in a way that reaches more people and gives them the tools in which they can put together their lives how they see fit. When you start talking about laws and rules and things like that, is extremely cult-like. And Glenn is an expert in identifying cults. If nobody knows, Glenn has a degree in theology. So he can recognize what's going on here. And so on something like that, it is kind of a danger when you're, Red Pill. However, guys, everybody's a grown adult here. If you're going to fall for that, fall for it. But keep in mind, you'll end up back here where the real information is. So this guy has kind of been pointing fingers at everybody, and Glenn, he recognized exactly how he was laying it out and actually communicated with this man personally. So that's probably where that question comes from. And if you want to ask more questions like that, you're going to have to do it with Super Chat.
And if you want to watch more Ricky Red Pill, trust me, just watch. Like, I have like 6 videos on this dude on my channel. So whoever sent that question in, go check it out. You'll be entertained. And again, my invitation is still open for Mr. What do we call him? Thor. What's his new name? What do we brand him?
Yeah, Rectum Red Pill.
Rectum Red Pill. Yeah, we're gonna shove that red pill right up his rectum.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun with it. That's
I love that passion, man.
Excellent job.
I just want to speak for 1 second. I love that passion, and that just goes to show how passionate Glenn really is about this information and having people get the right information. That's what he cares about. And I love being able to give this information to people.
And the other thing, none of us want to be your guru.
That's correct.
Nobody on this panel wants
I'm not your Jesus. I'm not trying to be your savior.
No.
Yeah.
Although my name is Thor, so don't listen to those other guys.
Well, except for one of us on the panel.
Not really, but that's okay. I don't know, not at all. Yeah. Funny stuff, guys. I mean, how entertaining is it in this space, really? Don't we all have lives to live?
It gets crazy. I have to say that recently, just so many people coming in and trying to do different things. Oh man. Oh man.
Well, there's a lot of people that here's something really interesting. This state in this space at the 0.00 top, 0.002% of the top, they make money. The rest of us spend freaking money in this space. And so there's a lot of truth out there and there's a lot of BS out there. And, being in this space, you're an easy bad guy, particularly coming up into the election cycle, because it's very popular right now to say misogynist. And this doesn't come just from wokies. This comes from tradcons to our space. So be aware of that. And that's not what we're all about. We'll be here long after that. We're talking about just basic human nature. And that's really what we like to have fun and chop it up. And sometimes we misspeak or our research isn't correct. We correct it. We go back and we look. Glenn and I have looked at stuff before and have seen it with new eyes because there's new information out there. We're not locked into our positions because we have sign language where we need to shame, insult, use guilt, and the need to be right. We don't use that.
I mean, when anybody says that they're going to come out here and clean up the red pill and get rid of everybody that doesn't bow down to their will, and then get called on it, and then they retreat like a little bitch, and then hold on, make it even better when a female asks to interview them, and they deny them because they're scared that she knows somebody that's red pill that will come on there. The dude is a scam. He's a fraud. Okay, don't listen to him. Do yourself a favor. If you want to watch him, because his TikToks are funny. Don't get me wrong.
They are funny.
He has some funny TikToks, but the message that he's trying to put out there is not good. It's not legit.
Great. Moving along now. I love Valentine's Day, guys. It's not a trap. It's a wonderful tool which you can use to your advantage to get so much quality and enjoyment out of life. It is really something else, guys. Danny Arnold again with another super chat. Danny, you're such a great supporter. We need to get you on here, man. Get your camera, get yourself ready to go. We got to get you in there. Okay. So let's get in there and give him the new. Get to these super chats, guys. We're really burning now. Odin. More brothers. Something for the cookie jar. Oh, we're going to get some cookies. What are we going to do with those cookies? We're not giving them out on Valentine's Day. And then, okay, guys. I mean, here we go. Once again,
God.
we're going to give you, girl. I mean, we're going to give you the war horn.
See, look at I don't gotta lie. There you go. There's the confirmation right there. Jen is the one that asked to interview dude, and dude was too much of a pansy to go talk to her about it because he's scared of me.
Hey, sweetheart. Thanks for the super chat, Jan. I appreciate it a lot. We had a good time when you came on the special edition of the DragonShip talking about the passport bros and how awesome they were that they would go overseas and take care of these sweet young things because they had such a need for strong masculine men to protect and to love them. Sure appreciated your input and support on helping all those guys get overseas to these poor.
And I have to say, Jen has a great show. If you guys go subscribe to her, and she does this almost every day, where she brings a lot of people on and we have debates on this type of stuff. So definitely give her a follow.
Yep, Jen's on the grind, and she's doing good out there in Vegas. We were just out there. We didn't get to see you, but maybe next time. All right, guys, we're hitting a 1 hour and a half mark. Let's do a nice round table, and we'll start to wrap this thing up. It's been a really fun show, kind of just loose and easy to go. I like those kind of shows. We'll be bringing you much more in-depth stuff in future episodes. I can't wait to get to the next one. We're going to talk about why everybody will eventually taste the red pill. So that should be a fun episode. That's coming up next week. And then we got some other episodes. I can just give you kind of a couple briefings. We're going to talk about the socioeconomic hierarchies that Vox Day had produced and see how relevant they are to people today. Are they even worth chatting about? Well, we'll see.
Oh, we're going to talk about all the Sigmas out there?
We're going to have some fun. That's up on our upcoming episode. I mean, all the betas that want to be Sigmas?
All the Sigma's going to come out of the way it works now.
That should be an interesting one because, I got some ideas around that and maybe some evidence about what that's all about. So,
yeah, the Sigmas are putting a lot of shorts out,
aren't they? Though now, but you know, it's wonderful to be able to feel good about yourself. If you're, let's just save it for that episode. So let's do a quick one. Huds, we haven't seen you in a long time. Let's get started with you, and we'll do a reverse roundtable. And tell us where to go. Where can we find you? And what are you up to, brother? And welcome on this episode of the DragonShip, brother.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me again. When it comes to relationships, I love talking about this stuff. You know, being a dating coach, working with relationships, it just falls in line. You can find me at the Hudsman on Instagram. It's the best way to reach me. I've been putting out a lot of information, a lot of like short tips, things like that. As well as I'm also releasing a lot more YouTube videos right now. So you can follow me, the Hudsman, on YouTube as well.
Thanks, Alex. We sure appreciate you. And let's go ahead and give another shout out. Felix 13. Awesome show and all the wisdom, you guys. Thank you. And shout out to Raith and New Metal Chemist. Got some good panel members, and we got some great guys in the chat. Thank you for your support. This goes right back into helping us get this content out to you guys so you can enjoy your Saturday with us. New Metal Chemist, what are you up to, and what's your latest products to give us a tell?
So right now I'm in the process of getting my ClickFunnels established for the colognes and also for the perfumes. I also have other secret projects always going on, but those are the main public-facing ones. So stay tuned. NewMetalChemist.com is the best way to find me, but it is password protected now, so you want to periodically check on it over the next month. And I can be kind of elusive, a little tricky to find, but yeah. If you stick it out, you're able to sample the goods or get to meet me at some point.
NC, do you got an IG or anything like that you're active on?
I do. I just barely made one. So it's just New Metal Chemist. So that one's on Instagram. Yep.
The famous, or shall I say, infamous Glenn Laurence.
Yeah, what's going on, you guys? So, you guys catch me here on the DragonShip on Saturday. I do have a consulting coaching I just launched. You can catch it on my link tree. If you go to my link tree, you could sign up and have a one-on-one consulting I am a certified life coach, so I'm able to help you guys out in those areas. Also, if you need any video editing, hit me up. I could do that as well. I do all the video editing for all the promos for this show. I'm the producer on Apex Mindsets live stream on Tuesdays. So if you guys are in the podcasting business and you want some work done, let me know. We can make a good little rate for you and get you going on that. But other than that,
for Glenn.
Yeah, other than that, hit me up. I'm dropping some satire skits every once in a while, and making fun of some people and calling out Ricky Red Pill for being such a vagina he is.
I love vagina. They say you are what you eat, right? Anyway, another story. Hey, Glenn, I'm going to have to promote you here. Next Tuesday is the Dragons membership meeting. And of course, if you guys don't understand, the Dragons membership is a membership for men, about men, and teaching men how to be better men in all aspects, particularly in their social life, how to get along with other men socially. We do a little bit of shit talking, okay, but we also help each other out. We've done a financial broadcast, financial education. Not that that's what this is all about. It's simply for educational purposes, entertainment purposes. We've talked about relationships. We've talked about careers. Raith has worked with us on Frame. So all these guys here have been in the Dragons membership. And Glenn Laurence is giving a lecture and a presentation, and he is going to talk with us on the Dragons membership. It costs $47 a month, and it supports this network and, of course, the DragonShip, RP Thor, and bringing guys like Glenn and others and new metal chemists up onto this platform so they can reach their customers and get this information out. It's very red pill focused, and red pill is not an ideology. We talk about these things, and sometimes we'll sit there and have an open disagreement, and it's really a good thing because it gets us thinking. I mean, Raith and I have done this, and we both learned so much from each other in these private meetings because it's completely uncensored. It's men talking. And it's just not locker room talk, although they can be. It's very useful, particularly with young men that have some social acuity issues. So consider joining the Dragons membership. Glenn, I'm really excited about you presenting in the Dragons. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
And Glenn is an impact consultant. So if you need to make impact in your life, we need to visit Glenn Laurence. So looking forward to it next Tuesday. Randall.
So you can catch me here Saturdays on the DragonShip, and as we continue to get Phil's studio set up, I'll start appearing on his show for a bit. But you can follow me on Instagram, Talon the Titan. I will eventually have my own channel, but got some other things to focus on first.
Thanks for joining us, Randall. We'll see you in the Dragons on Tuesday. Raith Deantior. What are you up to, brother?
As always, I'm here and I'm in the DragonShip. And I also work in men's. And one more shout out to John for the 100,000 subscribers. Good on you, buddy. And I also work in the men's group. I work pretty much exclusively in those two areas. So I do consults and stuff, but most of the people that I know come from those areas or that I'm working with. And you can find me on Raith _Deantior on Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, and on Yahoo Mail. I do want to say something, guys. For myself personally, I know I've worked with and been around most of these guys. Like I said, we're not here to be your gurus. And our main focus is to make you the healthiest man psychologically, emotionally, and physically that you can be. Because if you have those three things in line, which comes down to money, muscles, game, and frame, you're going to be able to survive whatever comes your way. And that's what we're trying to build, survivable men. As Thor's, he'll talk about his website, Become More Durable. That's what we're trying to do. Make men more survivable so that you can survive those issues that come up in life. And not every issue takes you to a dark place. And that's why I do this. And I don't make, like Thor says, we don't make a lot of money at this. Most of it is going back into these shows or doing cameras and those kind of things. But we're trying to make ourselves available to help, because we've sit in groups with a lot of young men that have no frame, no idea about where they're going in life, and no idea of how to get and take that first step of the 1,000 miles. So beyond that, if you want to talk to me, hit me up. I'm on Telegram. And if you're in either the DragonShip or the men's group, as you guys know, I'm in those Telegram chats all the time. If you ask a question in there to me, I will answer the question.
Fantastic, Ray. Thank you so much. And of course, I'm RP Thor, guys. You can find me at RP Thor on Instagram. I encourage you to join the Dragons membership, but also I'm offering RP Thor YouTube membership. There's exclusive videos there available to you, members only. It's a small fee a month, and you support this channel, and there'll be more and more added to that. Glenn's going to work with me, and we're going to get some stuff out there exclusive for members that support the channel so that we can continue doing this and grow it to those that are interested in this kind of content. You can find me at becomedurable.com. There's an entire lecture series on there, which is called Mastery of Oneself. I encourage you to go and take a look at that. Oh, no, by the way, if you do join the RP Thor YouTube membership, you'll be given a discount code, and you can access all that at quite a discount. And I appreciate that, guys. I'm going to take us out, and this will tell you exactly how to join the Dragons membership, which is different from the YouTube membership. We sure appreciate that. This is the exclusive monthly men's meeting. Thank you, guys, and Skull.
If you haven't already, join Thor's The Dragons membership. It's a men's monthly interactive meeting in cyberspace. This is a masculine place for men that is censorship free to help you increase your performance, converse, as well as leverage ideas, and get coaching consultations on how to handle life's issues in a modern world. This is a unique place. This is a discreet place, and it's a place for men. So what are you waiting for? Join the Dragons membership today